They are lying to you about crypto. This video is actually really difficult for me to make because I am such a crypto agnostic. I am not for it. I am not against it. I am just really neutral on crypto in general. So I really went to a conference just totally agnostic, just really wanted to learn about Bitcoin and crypto. So in this video, I'm going to break down what I learned. I'm going to break down what they taught me and break down a big secret that I learned in the process. Let's go.
Noelle. Yeah, she can fix that. You gotta get it done, no, you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that, yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that, let's fix that.
So let's get right into it. Again, Noelle Randall is a real estate multimillionaire, entrepreneur, mentor, best-selling author, speaker, mom of 5, and so much more. So I love businesses. I love investing. I understand that you have to take risks. Sometimes you lose money, sometimes you make money. But Bitcoin has just confused me for years. And so I really have been very agnostic about it. I don't own any, but I really am a learner. I want to learn. So I went into this very neutral, and I'm going to share with you what they taught me. Bitcoin, of course, is a crypto, but some of them were arguing that it's a technology. It's not a currency, because sometimes people say it's a currency. You can use it to buy things, but I'm just like, yeah, what? Why don't people be buying? I don't see nobody buying no houses, can't buy no land with it. I can't buy assets that I want to buy with it. So to me, it's not a currency. I get that. And there was really no one at this conference saying it was a currency anymore. That was just what I think people would say in the beginning. Now they were really arguing that it is a technology. But the thing that they were arguing that was so amazing was that Bitcoin is amazing because of the technology. You can't regulate it because there's no audited financial and because there isn't an underlying investment. So like if I tell you to invest in my company and buy shares, well, then I have a business that I'm running and that's what you invested in. Or if I say you got to invest in this REIT, real estate investment trust, well, there's these properties that we own. You can actually see them, touch them, they exist. So when you invest in something, you want it to go to an asset, a tangible asset, a thing, a business, a piece of real estate, stocks, gold, something that actually exists. And with Bitcoin and crypto, that is like the benefit of it, that there are no audited financials, that is not tied to an asset. And so it truly is like this free thing that you can do. But here's the fun part for me. The Trump administration is just all in. And they made that really clear that, Trump has a meme coin. Let's talk about that for just one quick second. When the meme came out, it shot up to $75 per share. Within days, it was down to $17. So it turns out 31 traders made $669 million off of the Trump meme coin. Meanwhile, 800,000 people collectively lost $2 billion. Think about that for a second. So meme coins to me are just crazy and ridiculous. And I don't see how anyone could see them as an investment. Let's think about that for a second. 31 people made 669 million, while a combined 800,000 people lost $2 billion. All that is a scam. That money went from these people to these people. What's the investment? What actually went up in value? Did the real estate? Oh, that's right. There is no real estate. Oh, did the business start making money? Oh, that's right. There is no business. So because there's no underlying business or asset, there's nothing to go up in value. So really all it is just transferring, especially with a meme coin, transferring money from this group to this group, the ones who know when the rug pull is happening. So I'm not going to get into that because Bitcoin, of course, is not a meme coin. But just to go and show you how deeply entrenched the Trump administration is in this, both Trump and Melania have a meme coin, and both of those scenarios played out just how I just said the Trump one did, where there's these small few people made hundreds of millions of dollars, while most people lost billions when they added all their money up together. But then they also talk about this guy named Gensler. Okay, he was this professor at MIT. He was like the father of Bitcoin. And at one point, he was the one pushing for regulation and really trying to make Bitcoin and push Bitcoin out into the front, forefront, where most people would start using it. But they've kind of turned against him because Gary Gensler tried to regulate crypto and Bitcoin. He's now kind of out of favor. So the new people in, they paused investigations against crypto. There was lots of cheers and high fives for that. That a lot of the investigations against people that were accused of crypto schemes has been paused. There is no SEC oversight for crypto. Okay, so they've moved that from under the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the pretty much the regulatory body of investments. So I'm not sure, but they've moved it under a different agency called the CFTC, which stands for Commodities Futures Trading Commission, which is this like really small agency that really doesn't do anything or really won't have the ability to, do very many investigations. They're nowhere near as big as the SEC. So they've kind of just taken all of that investigation stuff off the table, which of course makes more friendlier environment when it comes to crypto and Bitcoin. But here is the big part that had me shaking my head. They started talking about Bitcoin being about morality and saying that, the system that we have with capitalism and the dollar is very immoral. They told all these historical stories about how we used to be on the gold standard and, Ronald Reagan did away with that and Nixon, and we're no longer on the gold standard. This is started with Nixon and went on with Reagan, and now Trump is taking it to the next level, and Republicans are offering us freedom from the dollar and the dependence and reliance on the dollar. And Bitcoin is giving you freedom because it's not regulated. It's not someone watching you. It's not so much oversight. And it's not a global currency like the US dollar has tried to become. So let me break it down for you. They feel like the problem with the American dollar is that it's a global economy. And in order to be a global economy, like the US dollar, for it to be a global economy, you must take on debt. Okay, because if we supply money and America becomes the supplier of money, of dollars to China and in Europe, well, we're going to run deficits with our budget. Okay, so we're going to have to borrow. We're going to have to create debt in order for the US dollar to really be a global currency. And this is actually kind of true when you think about it from that level. And again, Noelle Randall does have a master's degree in economic development from Penn State, and I have an MBA. So some of the concepts, this economic concepts and theories that they were using is correct. Okay. The US dollar is kind of a global currency. And in that, you are correct. You are going to end up inevitably running deficits because you're not going to be able to meet your budget with the tax dollars that you're taking in order to fulfill that deficit. Again, you don't have enough money, you're going to take on debt. And so then we borrow from other countries, but when we get exchange for things, goods, for the money that we're giving out to the other economies. So it is truly this global economy that we currently have. I don't have a problem, I guess, with the system, but they do. Okay. So if you are really into the Bitcoin kind of cult of it, you really, really believe that the US dollar being a global currency is a problem because of the debt that we have to inevitably incur in order to be that. And so in these changes in our global economy, as we become the producer of currency and then people give us goods for our currency, well, then we shipped off a lot of jobs. And that is true. A lot of the manufacturing jobs are gone from the US. Most of our jobs are service jobs. A lot of our jobs in America are around financing and money and technology. And that's pretty much it. But all of the manufacturing and the producing of goods, that has been outsourced to other countries. And they feel like that has made us very vulnerable in this economy. So I don't know. And then they go on this long tirade to kind of get you to buy in on Bitcoin about all of the job loss, all of the terrible health outcomes that we're seeing in the United States, all of the mental health issues that we're having. And they blame all of this on us being a global economy or us having the global currency. And that is where I was like, that's just kind of a lie. Like, what are you talking about? So again, I'm very agnostic when I went into it. So let me tell you their main key points before I get into any arguments again, what they said, because to me, this was kind of a powerful point. They argue that Bitcoin is a revolution. It is a movement. And it is the people that buy Bitcoin that have the power. Because if you have Bitcoin and you don't sell it and you hold it, now you have this powerful thing that people want to get access to. And Bitcoin can't really be stolen. If you shoot somebody in the head, for example, they just like you can't get their Bitcoin now because it's a string of numbers allegedly is how you access it. And the only way to never get someone's Bitcoin is by killing them. So it's such a more safer way to have currency. They said that, argued that Bitcoin is not subject to inflation the way the dollar is, which I would have to argue makes no sense, because how is it then going up in value? It's not appreciation. It has to just be straight out inflation and supply demand. But again, how is Bitcoin deriving its value then? Because it's true. I guess you could argue easily that it is not subject to inflation as the US dollar is. You can't just confiscate someone's Bitcoin. That was a big thing. Talking about how, if they even suspect that you do something in the United States, they can take your money, they can freeze your bank accounts. Well, they cannot freeze your Bitcoin accounts. Very interesting point. Counterfeit. You can't make fake Bitcoin. So it is, they've eliminated that as an issue where you can counterfeit dollars. You can't counterfeit Bitcoin. I thought that was a very interesting and true point, possibly. And censorship. They felt like, as a Bitcoin owner, you are now free from censorship, because if a government doesn't like what you're doing, they can take your bank account, they can censor you by taking your money, but no one can do that with your Bitcoin. So to me, those were like some major points. And that's why they kept saying it's a revolution, it's a movement, it's strength in numbers. We're the people that give it value. It's right, it's not an investment. It's not tied to an asset. It's the power of the people that own it. We are the power of the Bitcoin. And to that point, they are correct. So if you just keep believing in Bitcoin, then it is real. But if we ever want it to be a true currency, then it has to go under regulation. So I don't know. I think there's actually some better things that you could do. And if you want to buy Bitcoin, I think there's a better way to do it instead of using your own money. I think it truly is something that you could buy, but I think you should treat it as a high risk investment. And so one of the things, if you wanted to do a high risk investment, well, what would you do? You would get a business line of credit or a business credit card or a business loan and use it as a high risk investment. Okay. And invest a small portion of it into this high risk business investment. And that's totally okay. So I'm teaching this at the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp, September 27th, 2025. Starts at 11 a.m., goes to 6 p.m. Eastern. It's all day. It's a live stream with me and a couple other experts teaching you on how to get business credit, how to build it quickly, and how to use it to buy income generating assets. So if you want to buy Bitcoin, I'm not going to say that you shouldn't, but I don't think that you should use your savings per se. But if you wanted to, if you have a business line of credit, and you wanted to take maybe $5,000 of it or $1,000 of it and buy some Bitcoin, absolutely. The thing with Bitcoin, though, it truly is just something that is speculation. And if you wanted to risk it and risk some money buying that, that it is a high risk investment. But I think there are lower risk investments that'll have a much higher payoff that you could use with your business credit, such as buying land, such as buying lots, such as buying real estate, such as buying rental property, such as doing marketing for your business to get more customers into your business. I think that would be a much better use of your business credit. But we will teach you all of these different things at the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp. Again, this is the last one for 2025. So you want to get your tickets right now, and I want to see you there. Use code YouTube50 to save 50% off the tickets. Again, last one. Upgrade to VIP if you want to do the Q&A session with me. But the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp is what you really should be doing with your time. You really should be learning how to get access to these funds. There are so much funding for businesses, for women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, all different types of businesses. You can walk into a bank and get $50,000 in your business's name, in many cases without income verification. So there are so much funding available for you, but you got to know how to get it and you got to know what to say. So come to the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp. Get your tickets right now. growyourwealthbootcamp.com. Use code YouTube50 to save 50%. Don't miss it. Get your tickets right now. Why? Because I want to make sure that you have all of the knowledge, all of the tools, and all of the resources that you need to be successful. This is Noelle Randall. To your success. All right. Thank you for staying. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel. Go ahead and share this video with anyone that you think could use it, because this crypto thing is crazy. Also, if you're ever wondering what video you should watch next from Noelle Randall, it's this one right here. Go ahead and watch this video right now.